Hey everyone, drinking some of my own tea this morning. It is the 2010 Xiaguan JiaJi. I brought this home about 3 months ago, and I've had a few sessions with it here. But it's been in my cabinet in my bedroom for 3 months or so, it should have changed considerably. We're gonna find out just how much right now. So brewing in this very nice Hong Pi Long pot from the early 2000s uh, that I picked up in Vietnam. I love this particular teapot for pu'er, and it should do well with this tea today. Oh, I'm kind of out of the frame there. All right. Yep, I'm experimenting with a new position today on as far as where the camera is, but may not be the best position. Well, you can still see me, so it could be worse. Okay, so doing my little pitcher rinse. I like to get it evenly heated and to get any residual dust out of there, even though I just washed it. Okay, so that's the rinse. Let's keep some residual water in the cup to keep it hot, since tea changes considerably as it cools. Okay, so let's take the lid off and let's pick off some pu'er. So I like to go with the rim with twirls. I like to pick off at the rim vertically downwards. And I have this in a container here. It's actually a butter container that has been cleaned out, obviously, thoroughly. Let's not knock my kettle off the table. I need that kettle. Yep, so there we go. Nice little chunk to start with. And I need a bit more since I like my tea strong. Dropped a little there. I have some dust in here, so maybe I'll put some of that in, and maybe another chunk as well. So this breaks up pretty easily, actually, for a JiaJi, since it's had 3 years in my warehouse or so. There we go. Let's drop that in, a couple of little flakes, and we'll put that away. Okay, so yeah, I'm out of the frame if I lean forward, I just noticed. So I'll be sure not to do that again. Okay, so let's start off with a rinse. One should be good, since 2010 material should be pretty clean. This has a green food certification from the government of China, which means this tea has been produced to higher standards than usual for Chinese agriculture. What that really means in actuality, I would have to go and look up. But it does mean it's more compliant with certain pesticide limits and things like that. And I think green food was an attempt to combine organic style cultivation with conventional agriculture, which involves the use of chemicals such as pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and herbicides. So it's kind of a bit of both for the green food certification back then. Green food is still around, but there are other certifications now for the Chinese government. There is an organic certification, which is a big cabbage. The logo is a big cabbage for that. And there are some very famous cakes out there with that big cabbage logo. I think they're all organic. I could be wrong. Well, there might be some smaller productions with that kind of wrapper that mimic that logo, but aren't actually organic. I don't know for sure. I don't really buy the knockoff versions. I prefer the good stuff. I'm kind of scared of that knockoff stuff, actually. Okay, so still a bit of residual smoke, but not much. You can definitely smell it in there, and it smells like a JiaJi would, an older JiaJi. Someone just told me that Xiaguan changed their recipes, at least for the Teji, or Teji, in 2012. So this is still the old school stuff, which makes me want to buy more of it because it'll never be the same post 2012 if that change really happened. I do have some 2019 Teji in the warehouse, so I should try that out and see how it compares. I could try it out now or try it out down the line, but now I'm curious enough to want to try it now, since it's supposed to be easier to drink young. Okay, let's let that brew. And I'm wearing one of the Kung Fu shirts today, nice and comfortable. Although this one is from 555, which is an old Hong Kong manufacturer that went bust last year, and I bought up a lot of their seconds. When I finally got over there, like it was like their last few days of business, and all of the first grade stock was gone. But I got a very good deal on their seconds, so yeah, I bought up a bunch, and they're extremely high quality Egyptian cotton and very comfortable. I like super combed cotton. Keeps me comfy, especially when I'm asleep. I sleep better in it. Okay, that should about do it for the first infusion. So I didn't have any tea yesterday at all because I wanted to get back to sleep. I had a long night and didn't get enough sleep, and I had to run around the next day on 5 hours of sleep, which isn't ideal at all, of course. Oops, you can't even see me. All you can see is my hand in the teapot, but that's alright. You don't need to see me. It's the tea that matters, right? Okay. Yep, so there's leaf clogging the spout. There is an internal filter, but it would have slid down towards the front. The leaf, I mean, not the filter. So that's why the pour is kind of slow today. Let me see if I can move that back some. Just shake it back away from the spout. Yeah. And the material actually looks excellent. It's quite high quality material used for a JiaJi, which it's plantation material, but it's a pretty good quality, pretty good grade of the stuff. And JiaJis are really good value. Plantation tea can be a really good value. Okay, smells good. A bit less smoky now after the rinse, after the second infusion, I mean. So let's leave that there, and let's see what we have here. So yeah, I like to leave rinse or liqueur in the cup most of the time, since it keeps it warm. And that's quite dark now, as you can see. That's about 3 years in my warehouse here in Hong Kong. So nice changes to this tea. This tea is actually aged really well. And let's see how it's doing after 3 months here at home. It's a very lightly bitter, not really unpleasant at all. Mildly astringent. It's got that full flavor that classic Xiaguan JiaJi tuos do have. It's kind of wildflower. Some barley maybe. And the smoke's almost entirely aged out in the cup. So yeah, it's actually tastes great. Got some Hong Kong notes. And I'm surprised it only took 3 years to get to this stage. I'm pretty happy with it. So even the JiaJi can be a great daily drinker if you get a correctly stored version, or you're able to store it yourself. And I'm greatly impressed with how this tea is transformed. I should buy a whole other box full of JiaJi to make up for the ones that I'm selling, because this really is a great tea for the money. It's inexpensive, it's clean, doesn't taste bad at all, and pretty decent chachi as well. So natural storage, well, Hong Kong natural storage, JiaJi, is really great value. This is a really good tea, actually. I can really feel the chachi. It might be partly because I took a break from caffeine and tea yesterday, and I had a good night's sleep. That really does seem to help me feel the effects of tea better, or theanine, or the other polyphenols. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying this actually. I still haven't broken out the insulated carafe that I was going to use, but it's nice and warm today. It's about 26 degrees Celsius, and I'm not running air conditioning today, so I am actually starting to sweat, but that's fine. At least my tea and my water aren't cooling down because of the air conditioning. So I actually enjoy the taste of aged out smoke. It doesn't taste like smoke per se, but it ages into something that I actually quite enjoy depending on my mood. And right now, this is hitting the spot. Okay, since this is a second infusion, I'm not going to go too long. And that spout is still clogged, unfortunately. That's alright. We'll just let the liqueur do its thing. I can't really clear the spout now. So usually this pot has an excellent pour, but the small leaves are blocking the spout some. If I had a toothpick handy, I could push the leaf back a little, but I do not have a toothpick handy at the moment. Yep, nice slow pour here. And this teapot won't sit in the Gongdao Bay either because of the shape of the teapot. It isn't compatible with this type of pitcher, or any pitcher really. I can't think of a pitcher that this teapot would work with. So that's a consideration. If you like to rest your teapot in the pitcher, you're going to want a teapot that fits your pitcher, or a pitcher that fits your teapot, or a teapot that fits pitchers at all, because in this case, this isn't going to fit anything. Okay, let me see if I can push it back some. Still a fair amount of liqueur in there. And it is hot too. But, ooh, wow, that's hot. Okay. I did actually manage to clear the spout. So, there we go. Didn't burn myself, although it was pretty hot. Okay, a little bit of leaf there that I got stuck to my finger. Okay, there we go, nice and strong, this infusion. You can still smell that aged out smoke, but not unpleasant to me. To some people it could be, so if smoke isn't your thing, even the aged out kind, this is not the tea for you. And there are people who are more sensitive to that than others. Nothing wrong with that. If you don't like smoke, you don't like it, you know. Drink what you like, drink what you enjoy. So the slower pour there didn't hurt this at all. It's still very nice, very pleasant. Not as much wildflower, but still plenty flavorful. Astringency and bitterness are very tolerable. And surprisingly, the JiaJi is a real heavy hitter today. I'm really feeling this stuff. No complaints from me, especially at this price point. This is really excellent value. And while I drink that, let's go with the third infusion. Let me make sure the spout isn't clogged. And I should start my pour slower too, because if you pour fast, the leaf slides down towards the front much quicker. So I'll be sure to pour slower for the next infusion. Let's see if I can help mitigate that movement. There we go. I'm getting really sweaty here. But I'm not going to use air conditioning. I'm just going to put up with it. I'm going to motor my way through. That's what I wanted to say. I'm going to motor my way through this heat. Just going to sweat it out. So aged smoke is almost camphorous in a sense, but distinct as well. Surprising amount of dust, and that Last infusion. Okay, let's pour slow this time. Much lighter this time. I could have gone a bit longer. That's alright. I'll go longer for this next one. Yep, that's it. Interesting. Smells like green tea almost right now. Like stewed green tea, kind of. I can taste my breakfast. It's having a little bit of an effect on my the contents of my stomach. I had eggs with sambal, which is Malaysian style hot sauce, basically like a paste inspired by traditional sauces from the south of India. And that's what I eat most mornings when I'm home, at least. And yeah, great start to the morning, and I can taste my great start. Starting to regret that that lack of air conditioning there. But it definitely makes a difference. If I have cool air blowing onto my teaware and onto my teapot and my kettle, everything cools down significantly faster. So it's definitely something I need to take into mind when I'm brewing. It does give me different results. So I have a different teapot today. It's one of the most basic teapots you can get. It's a little peanut. And once it gets nicely patinated, it really does look like a peanut. I've been using this one for a while. Little peanut. I've had people ask me why I have a peanut on my tea tray. And I have to explain it's a Duani type clay. With tea patina. So quite light this time, this infusion, but still very nice. A bit more tolerable if you like your tea lighter. I like my stuff strong, so. I like to see what's really happening, what's really going on with the leaf. And if you brew stronger, you do bring out more of the character, and you can also pick up on flaws. So it's more, it's a better way to get a full picture of what's happening with the leaf. Which is why professional teacuppers use cupping sets and go for longer infusions, because you're extracting almost everything. Well, maybe not almost everything, but a good amount more than you would with a single Kung Fu infusion. Across multiple Kung Fu infusions, you are breaking it down, but if you want the full picture, you kind of do need to do fewer, longer steeps, or even just a single long steep, as they do in professional tea tasting. So I'm a big proponent of longer infusions, and you'll find that in China or Hong Kong or Taiwan, the kind of flash infusions you see in the West with pu'er, that just doesn't happen. No one does that. I don't know why people in the West do it. I did it as well in the early years because a lot of my influence on my brewing came from people in the United States, and even though I live in Hong Kong. So that really did affect my results for many years, and I found going longer with my infusions, both for oolong and pu'er, to be much better. And I found that's what most Chinese people who are in the business do as well, and with good reason. I've seen it in Taiwan as well. They use much longer infusions than you would think. It's necessary with thicker leaf. So in the case of pu'er, it's the same deal. You need to go longer, because if you're going shorter, you're not going to extract enough from each infusion, if you ask me. You could leaf hard and go that way, but I still feel like your first few infusions are going to be lackluster, and then wham, your tea's going to open up. So yeah, I found going with larger pots that hold more heat. This one's about 180 ml, I think. And going with longer infusions really does help to get more out of your pu'er in the first few infusions especially, and then you just get a fuller profile from each infusion. I started off with 8 grams. I suggested 8 grams to someone, and Kapuntu has been sticking with the 8 gram rule. But I've actually scaled up I don't use a scale for puller, as you just saw, so it's basically visual, and I use 10 or even 12 grams for 180 to 200 ml pot, and then I use long steeps as well. So I do like my tea strong. Uh, yeah, I think that also is something that happens when you drink tea for a long time. Like you do start to gravitate towards stronger infusions or stronger tea. Maybe it's caffeine tolerance. Who knows? My caffeine tolerance is definitely up compared to when I first started. Oop, I almost went too fast there. I don't want to clog that spot again. Or rather, have the leaves block the filter. And I am sweating. Okay, we're getting the color we want here now. Nice and dark. That's what I want, at least. That also shows you the effects of the storage here as well. This tea came in directly from a large-scale wholesaler in Kunming, not a Western-facing one, in case people think I'm reselling from a Western vendor. I'm not. This stuff was purchased from someone who sells more capacity than any of us in the West do. Well, I'm not in the West, but you know what I mean. Any Western-facing vendor. So, yeah. This is purchased from someone who moves a lot of volume, and the tea was really dry when it came in. Like for 2010, there was no age on it at all when I got it 2 or 3 years ago. Well, it's 3 years. So yeah. You can see what 3 years has done to the material, and I'm surprised actually at how far along it's come. Some of my other stuff hasn't, and that could be because I kept the tours in the bags, in the sleeves, or in the tong wrappers that they come in. That forms a little humidor of sorts that traps in humidity, and that might actually be why they aged a little faster than they would have otherwise. I don't know for sure. All I know is they've aged well, and the method that I used worked. I kept them in their wrappers and just opened them up a little bit to let air in and out, and it seems to have worked really, really well. So I've done the same thing with the 2019 JiaJi that I bought this year. With the boxed tours, I've left them in the boxes. I haven't opened those up. Those cardboard boxes do breathe, so the tea will still age through the little tour boxes. So nice, strong, full flavor. If you don't mind drinking the same tea all the time, or if you don't mind like a single profile, then these are amazing value. For me, I need variety, but I am very happy to drink this regularly, just not every day. I couldn't drink this every day, but once or twice a week, absolutely. This stuff is just amazing for the money, as it has been for a long time. And Xiaguan have been able to maintain a low price point on their plantation pressings. Yep, I did fill that back up, so let's give it a bit more time. And I'm really sweaty now. Gonna need a shower after this. Such is the nature of life in Hong Kong when you get hot. The humidity is high too. It's 70% or a little higher right now. So yeah, I'm getting kind of sweaty here, which is fine. Gonna shower anyway, so don't mind a little sweat on a Sunday morning. Got loads of tea to pack today, loads. So this is a little J time before I get cracking, and even my personal time now is on video. I have to. Well, I don't have to, but I am sharing my morning session with you guys. A lot of mornings nowadays. It gets easier and easier with time. Wow, we're at 25 minutes. Okay, so this might be the last infusion. I might have a few more off cam because this material still got plenty of punch to it. And this teapot is really working well. It had a bit of residual clay aroma to it that is now dissipated with use. So I'm really enjoying using this pot. And I wish I'd bought the other one that they had from the same batch, from the same year or so. Someone had taken them to northern Vietnam from China, and it was a lucky find. No one had bought them for years and years, and they probably didn't know how good they were. They're also a bit pricey for your average Vietnamese consumer. So, yep. I don't know if I could even find that store again. I probably could, but to go back for a single teapot, that's probably not going to happen. There are lots of options out there. But, yeah, this teapot's got a story, and one that I won't forget. So it makes it a pretty cool souvenir that I can use regularly. Not all souvenirs are quite as practical. And the clay is really lovely. Craftsmanship as well. It was a very nice pot for that period of time. And yeah, it's a bit unique too, the style. It's not a classic shape, but it's a beautiful modern shape that works beautifully. Maybe a bit more time before I pour. Let me see, it's 26:20 on my clock there. Sorry, I'm getting kind of sweaty. You know that. Let's pour at 27 minutes on my timer here. On my, yeah, I guess it is a timer in a sense. It's the length that the video has been running for. Oh, huh. This is kind of wonky on camera. Let's fix that. I gotta pour this out too. It's full of water. Wow, that's really heavy, actually. So Dr. Mittens, you were talking about the cabinet. You said you like the cabinet. It's my parents'. I think it was purchased 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and it's either French or Italian, I think. Hopefully, I get to have this cabinet because I love it, and I love having my teaware in it. Yeah, this cabinet would be my baby. I'm very much appreciative of this cabinet. Okay, 27:30. Got a little sidetrack there, talking about the cabinet. And that is surprisingly light, actually. So, larger teapot and lower ratio means you're going to get fewer overall steeps, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't have all day to be sitting here infusing, infusion after infusion. And those who have tried it, I found this method to work quite well, actually. So if you haven't tried using 8 to 12 grams for a larger teapot and going with longer infusions, it's worth trying. See what you think. It might not be your thing. You might prefer the Western style flash infusions with pu'er. But yeah, give it a try. It's always worth giving new techniques a try, because you might actually find that the method that you haven't tried works out better than what you have been doing. And I found that to be true numerous times throughout my tea drinking life, my tea life basically. I found that my brewing method for all types of teas changes. It evolves over time, and I adapt based on what I learn. If you don't, then you get stuck in a groove, and you may actually be wasting good tea by not brewing it correctly, you know? For example, with sencha, I was brewing it too hot for 2 or 3 years until I realized it's not 10 degrees drop per pour, it's more like 5 after someone tested it with a thermometer. So that's actually worked beautifully for me. By using more pours rather, my sencha drinking has improved greatly. And my green tea drinking in general. Or brewing high mountain oolong cooler, for example. I will give this another long steep to finish up with, but I'll do that off camera. For now, I'm just going to have my last sweaty steep here. So still that dominant aged out smoke note, which It's present in a lot of traditional pu'er recipes since they were processed over a fire rather than in a dehumidified room or a heated room or an oven or whatever, or even an electric stove. So this is a very classic taste profile, and I'm glad that I can still drink stuff like this. But who knows what will happen with time. If everyone's going to easier drinking recipes, we're going to lose these traditional recipes and traditional methods. And I mean, you know, you might enjoy the new stuff. I do, some of it. I do enjoy newer Sheng, but I do enjoy the old stuff, and I drink a lot of the older type stuff as well, as you are probably well aware. So, yeah, I'm glad I can still get this, and I should probably buy more pre-2012 stuff while the getting is good, because if it's true that Xiaguan have changed up their method, then the new stuff just isn't gonna scratch the itch quite the same way. I'm gonna have to try that new Teji or Teji, and I will do that soon. I might actually do that on video. Maybe I'll bring one home and test it out, and we can see what's really up with the new Xiaguan tools. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great tea day, and yeah, that's pretty much it.